Hello! First, I just want to check in with you guys. How you doing? How's your week been? What have you been up to? Make sure to leave a comment down below because I just want to, make sure y'all are doing well. But today, guys, we are going to go on a mission to find the best book quotes out there. This is going to be the start of a brand new series and my first series on this channel. But basically, I'm just going to, every few weeks or something, I'm going to add to this series. I'm just going to be talking about some of my favorite book quotes that I find in books. And basically, it's just going to be a search to find and discuss book quotes. So this morning I basically did a brief search on Google just for some of my favorite book quotes and some of my favorite books. I found 15 and I also got one from one of you guys, so we're going to go over those 16 book quotes today. It's going to be super fun. Make sure to leave a like if you're excited for this brand new series. Make sure to subscribe to this channel for more, and also I've got some exciting news coming this month, so definitely go subscribe, and last of all, hit the notification bell. But let's jump into the first book quote. Alright, so the first quote is, "To light a candle is to cast a shadow," and this is from Earthsea, Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. And if you guys kind of watched my vlog of reading this book, I'll leave that up there for you guys. It's like a mystery book reading vlog, so I didn't know what this was gonna be. But yeah, I read this. I didn't really end up enjoying it, but oh my gosh, this one quote is like so philosophical. I love it. Light is a candle is to cast a shadow, and I was like, oh my gosh, how true is this? I've never really thought about it in a way, because light is usually like a symbolism of like happiness, light and darkness, like happiness and sadness. That's kind of how I at least think of it. And so to make this really kind of like almost devil's advocate quote, where it's like, if you're lighting a candle, you're also casting a shadow. It has that really cool vibe to it where it's like, every single action that you do, and even if you think it might be positive, is also gonna cast a consequence for someone else. So like a few examples of this would be like, I wanted to sleep in today, but then I have less time to make this video. There's just kind of like that stuff where like every single action you have is going to have a positive and a negative consequence to it. You really got to be thinking about, other sides and stuff. So this was just a really amazing quote, and I just had to share with you guys. Okay, another quote is, "Imagine, believe, whisper, breathe, and commence," from the Unwanted series. And oh my gosh, it's just, I remember this quote was heavily used. It's like kind of like almost a magic spell to restore the mansion in Artemis. So Alex would have to go through these words, and it's almost like a good like breathing exercise, almost like when I first read this, and like when I still read this, I kind of almost like try to slow down and I kind of try to think it through it myself. Imagining the mansion in the world, then he had to believe in it, he had to ignite life in the mansion, then he had to whisper, he had to slowly form it up, he had to breathe, he had to make the mansion living, and then he had to commence, which would make the world come alive. So I feel like that's just a really good set of words that Lisa McMahon chose, and it was really powerful to me. I always loved reading about it. I feel like that's a good breathing exercise that I should use. Next up, we've got one from the Keeper of the Lost City series. I know I haven't really been talking about this in a while on my channel, but the iconic quote, "We could all use a little more weird in our lives," and Fitz says that in one of the books in the Keeper of the Lost City series, and this is like one of the best quotes because like it's so true. We could all use a little bit more weird in our lives, and I just think a lot of people discount people that are weird or unique when we should all really celebrate our uniqueness and our weirdness. And I don't really know anyone else like me, and that's amazing. Weirdness is amazing. We should celebrate our weirdness, and I love Fitzpacker for that. Unfortunately, Fitz definitely had the opposite of redemption arc, and now he's a bad character, but in the early start of the books, Fitz was a great character and I liked him. Okay, we've got another philosophical quotes, and I promise I did do some funny quotes and sad quotes and stuff too, but like, next quote is from the Hunger Games, and it says, "Miss Everdeen, it is the things we love most that destroy us." And that couldn't be more true. Suzanne Collins really represented this theme in the Hunger Games trilogy by that the things that Katniss held dear to her heart and the things that she really loved were all taken away from her. So for example, like the Capitol would use Katniss's family to torture her. She just uses those people that she loves to really destroy her because she'll do anything to get them back. And so I think this is just such a powerful quote, because like what you love is really a vulnerability to you. It's just like people can use what you love against you, if that makes any sense. And I like how this book has that theme, and it definitely just kind of makes you think a little bit, which I love a good quote that makes your wheels and your mind spin. So let's get into the next one. Oh, this was another one from the Keeper of the Lost Cities series. It's just like a cute quote, but anyways, Keith, there were no words. She threw her arms around his shoulders, hugging him as tight as she could. Maybe if she never let go, she could hold the broken pieces together. So yeah, I just really like this quote because it's super cute and it supports my ship. I ship Sophie and Keith in the Keeper of the Lost City series, and that quote from the 5th book, Lodestar, was just made me like, you know, tear up a little bit, because that's really when I started to ship them together, Sophie and Keith. And, you know, she threw her arms around him, hugging him as tight as she could, and if she never let go, she could hold the broken pieces together. And that's almost a line that kind of makes me solidify that, because Keith really does hold her together, and that's just something I love to see. And, you know, Keith is just really there for her. I love it so much. Okay, another philosophical quote from the Eragon series, one of my favorite series by Christopher Pliny. And oh my gosh, quick story time. I'll just pop up a picture real quick. I released a video yesterday. I wrote a comment about how his books really inspired me, and he hearted it. This millionaire, he hearted my comment. I was like I was so in shock, and you know, I had to text my friends about it. But anyway, the quote for this one is, "You cannot miss what you have never had." And oh, this is such a great quote, especially because it's just really like a huge lesson, like a life moral. You cannot miss what you've never had. You shouldn't be, I guess, like upset or sad or, you know, nostalgic about anything that you haven't had, if that makes sense. Like, you shouldn't like go back on your past and like be sad that you didn't do something. Although I don't even know what I'm saying. It's just kind of a tricky thing. I'll just leave it there. Okay, so the next quote is really funny. Just a really iconic quote, but basically Eragon said, "I'm doing my best." And then Oramus, his like apprentice in the book, his elven apprentice, said, "No, this isn't your best. We shall recognize your best when it appears." Oh, that was hilarious. I loved that quote so much, because it was just kind of like snappy. He was like, "I'm trying my best," but he's like, "No, you're not doing your best. We will see your best when it appears." So I just thought that was really funny and cute, and yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys today. The last quote from the Eragon series is, "There's much you can learn from books and scrolls. These books are my friends, my companions. They make me laugh and cry and find meaning in life." And oh my gosh, I thought that was just like a really good kind of like book lover quote. It really just shows how much of an impact books can have. Books really are my friends. Books really are my life. So like, it was just a huge relation to me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to it as well. I try to include some of these, you know, good book lover quotes in my videos, and I will keep finding them. I also have another quote about books later in this video, so just kind of stay tuned for that. But yeah, I just love how these authors kind of are able to represent their own book love within their characters, and their characters say some really iconic stuff about books that, you know, they feel, and so I really love it. There really is so much you can learn from books, and I feel like it's just, you know, benefited me so much, because oh, I swear to God, this is a really funny story, but like my mom gave me like the SAT test, or like a practice SAT test, and I literally got only like 4 questions wrong, I think, on the grammar. There's 44 questions, and my mom was like, "Wow, how'd you get such a high score?" And I was like, I read. I learned so much about grammar and stuff from reading. So yeah, it really is. Books are really beneficial to people. Alright guys, it is finally time for the one that one of you guys sent in for me. I just kind of asked one of you guys, and that was Katie. Katie, basically, I asked her this morning if she wanted to help me with my video, and she just said yes. So I asked her if she would get me a quote. So she sent one in from the Magnus Chase, The Gods of Asgard, The Ship of the Dead, from page 321. I'm glad she sent me something that I had read, so I can kind of understand. Mr. Chichippy, you didn't know what to take away meant. And so basically, it was a really funny quote, actually, if you had, you know, read the series, and I kind of forgot, so like I don't, you know, remember much. And this is where they're walking through like this freezing cold weather, really freezing. They were chattering. She's like, "Mr. Chippy, you didn't know my to take away." They're trying to like go over all their fun memories. It's like almost like a recap of the series, and she's like, "You didn't know what takeaway meant." So it's just kind of like a really funny quote. Although I don't remember much of it, still divine. And also in the scene, something really romantic happens between 2 characters, and I'm all for it. If you guys know what I'm talking about, Magnus Chase, The Ship of the Dead, Magnus's love interest. Anyways, thank you so much, Katie, for helping me with this video, and I will probably do more, and I'll include some of your guys' quotes if you want to comment and stuff. And yeah, I'll be able to include more quotes in the future episodes of the series. But let's get into the next one. So again, from the Unwanted series, and it is another funny one. It's "Don't die." That's the quote from Clive, the Unwanteds. And basically, in this world, in the mansion, they each have their own blackboard in their rooms, and this blackboard is like a smart kind of technology, and there's someone living in each blackboard, and like kind of like, you know, they have a life. Like if their blackboard gets destroyed, they die. But like basically, Alex's blackboard is Clive, and whenever Alex would go into battle or do something dangerous or go off an adventure, he would say, "Don't die," and it was like his catchphrase. Really crazy. And then at the end of the series, Clive ended up having something happen to him, and so, you know, it was a really funny and kind of bittersweet quote that I love when Clive was just like, "Don't die," you know. It was like really nice. Okay, now we've got another quote from the Keeper of the Lost City series, and this was from Grady. Grady said an iconic line, which was, "I've realized now that our world doesn't define us. We define our world." And I just love this quote. It's one of those, you know, like inspiring, motivational quotes that I just really fall in love with. Like, in reality, you are the one that gets to decide your fate. Like, are you gonna sit down and just let your life play out? Or are you gonna actively achieve your dreams? Are you gonna go for what you live for? Like, you're the one that's gonna make our world a better place, so do it. I don't know what I'm saying. Anyways, oh, another one that I really love and heavily relate to. The next quote is, because our family doesn't decide who we are. We decide who we are. Believe me, it drives my parents crazy, and sometimes that's the only thought that gets me through the day. So yeah, I just love this quote, especially because, you know, I feel like a lot of our parents try to, I guess, like, force us into different paths and different things, and like, I'm like, no, don't fall into that trap. Do what you want. So I read so many stories like this in books and stuff, and even, like, you know, my parents are like, oh, be an engineer or whatever. No. That's not how my life is gonna play out. You know, I get to decide who I am, and you guys get to decide who you are. Just do whatever you're passionate about. I love those quotes like that. Love it. Period. You guys are the ones that get to decide who you are. No one else gets to decide that. Alright guys, we're coming to the last 4, so let's just kind of get into it. But next one is from They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. It was a really amazing audiobook that I listened to, and it is, I should have shown you, some risks are worth it. And I guess this kind of relates to They Both Die at the End, because if you guys don't know what They Both Die at the End is, I'll quickly explain it. But 2 boys discover that they're going to die in the next 24 hours. They meet up on the Last Friends app, and they have a good last 24 hours basically, and they grow attached to each other and stuff like that and have a romance. Further on that, I guess, like, this heavily relates to, like, living your life like you want to. Like, you know, some risks are worth it, and you really should try to live your life to the best of your ability. Do some things that scare you sometimes, like go out to your comfort zones. And, you know, a heavy thing for me was, like, starting a YouTube channel, but, you know, it was so worth it. You gotta take some risks. And I know a lot of people are like, hey, should I start a YouTube channel? Do it. Do some things that might be, you know, hard, or it might be scary, but, you know, you really gotta go for it. Anyways, the next one is, I didn't know you this morning, and now I don't remember not knowing you. And this was from The Sun Is Also a Star, another audiobook, and this was just such a cute romance between Natasha and, oh my gosh, I don't remember the guy's name. Oh, Daniel, and basically Natasha's getting deported at the end of the day. They have one more day to spend with each other. Basically, they spent so much time together that they, like, never forgot, you know, each other. So, like, I didn't know you this morning, and now I don't remember not knowing you. So they formed such a connection in 24 hours, and this quote shows how you can build strong connections and strong friendships in only, you know, several hours. Like, it really does show, and, you know, you just gotta go out and find friends and make connections, and that's it. I swear there's so much background noise going around me. I hope the camera's not picking up any of this crap, like my washing machine, my brother's mowing the lawn. Okay, anyways. Okay, life is a book, and there are 1,000 pages I have not read yet. Life is a book, and there are 1,000 pages I have not yet read, from The Infernal Devices. And I just think this is another good bookish quote. Like, life is a book, and you are reading the pages every single day. You are the one creating your own book, basically. Like, imagine that someone's going to write your life as, like, a autobiography or a biography, like, someday. You could be a book. I mean, if you could be famous or something, you could be a book. And so you just got to think about, like, all your actions. Like, what are you doing to make your story the best that you can? Like, you have to, you know, switch it up sometimes, go to your comfort zone again, take those risks, and have a good story. This video is teaching me so much lessons. I love it. And the last quote for this episode is another book quote, because I love these bookish quotes, and this is also from the Infernal Devices series. It's from Clockwork Angel. This book, by the way, these last 2 quotes were from that book. Anyways, let's get back into the quote. But basically the quote says, one must always be careful of books and what is inside them, for words have the power to change us. And Tessa Gray said that, and oh my gosh, I love that quote so much, because words really do have the power to change us. Stories have the power to change us, and just, you know, what you learn from books really does impact you as a person. And so, like, I can't stress enough, guys, keep reading and keep doing what you love, no matter what other people say. You be weird, be unique, take risks, read books, because they have the words to change you. And, you know, just keep being the amazing people that you are, and I love you so much. So yeah, that's the last quote. Let's just jump into a quick outro. But yeah, I had really a lot of fun with this video. So thank you guys so much for, you know, staying with me throughout this whole video. I had such a fun time with this first part of the best quotes series. I can't wait to do another one. You know, stay tuned. I'll be messaging some of you guys for quotes on Instagram or asking some of you guys in the comments, because I do want to incorporate some of your guys' quotes into here. I thought that's a good idea. And so yeah, just stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe for more videos like that if you haven't already. But yeah, if you guys kind of enjoyed this video with all these philosophical and fun and sad quotes, make sure to leave a like on this video, and again, subscribe to my channel, and also hit the notification bell to get notified every single time I post a new video. And in the comments, let's have a discussion. Which was your favorite quotes, or some of your favorite quotes from this video? What are some of your favorite quotes? And if you want them to be in a video, just, you know, say like, this is my favorite quote, and I would love if you were to talk about it in the video. So yeah, do that, and you know, just kind of talk about some of the quotes and your favorite quotes, and let's have a good discussion in the comments down below. I'll leave the last video up there for you guys. It was my summer book tag. I looked really rough because my eyes were like super puffy and red in that video, but now my eyes are back to normal, so that's good. But yeah, anyways, you can watch that video. Again, I look really rough. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 in this series. Love you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye!